It's got the title, some metadata, front matter, which contains the TOC, a few chapters, a couple appendixes, the back matter, which is an index, and a big relationship table. And I like to do relationship tables with just two columns, source only, target only. Keeps things really simple. It can be a little bit verbose because you may have to put things in both places to get the links to come back. But I don't know, it just makes it easier to wrap your head around. So I'm going to generate a PDF-ready book from this map. And so the first thing that we need to do is go into DITA options, into the book builds dialog, make sure things are set up right. In this case, we want a DITA file to be one that I've called DITA FMx print. And we also want to enable the list building and template applying features for the book map. Other than that, it's the same as we were doing before. Save that. We also need to set up a book build ini file. And what you do with this is it contains all the information for pagination and numbering. And if you've used Frame books, you'll know that there's a lot of pagination and numbering features that you can apply to book components. And so this file essentially does all of that. And so you put that file in the output folder where you're going to build your book. And so I've got this FMX book folder. And one of the things that I want to happen in this is I want to include an unstructured frame file. So I've got an FMX title file here that contains my title page and copyright information, and it pulls in this image. This is unstructured stuff. It's just sort of easier to do things that aren't reused much unstructured, but you can mix and match. So this book build ini file specifies the location for the templates. The templates are the files for the index list, the TOC, and then any templates that are applied, such as the appendix template. That's different than the standard chapter templates, and so we'll end up with this book that's got multiple templates applied. So this first section here, include files, tells you what files to pull in, what unstructured frame files. So it's going to insert the file FMX title at the first location in the book. The include files type section here says the file that's at the first location in the book, call that a title page. The reason you have to give it a name is because in these numbering sections down here, we have a numbering first section which says the first title page, set the page numbering to restart, and the page number format to lowercase Roman. Since there's only one title page, we don't need a numbering default. So then we go to numbering first TOC. It says set the page number to continue and keep it lowercase Roman. Then the first chapter, right here, numbering first chapter, this should restart the chapter numbering, set it to 1, and the page numbering should restart and be numeric. Then we've got numbering default, so that takes care of the remaining chapter files. Then we've got our appendix, which we want to restart at 1 with uppercase alpha, so that's going to switch the numbering style. The index list will continue the page numbering. Then down for the generated files, the TOC, we define the type of the component, the number of tags. There's 5 tags that are used to define the TOC. And then the same with the index. It's defined as an index standard component, and it's got 1 tag. A lot of that's the same information you would do manually in the book, but this way it's applied for you automatically. So we've set up both of those. And now we'll just go back and run the generate book from map.
Got two questions, one of which was about generating a token and index, but you're covering that right now. And the second question is, can config files and templates be stored centrally for multi-user setups? These config files can be applied for a specific book or for all of the files. There currently isn't a way to store it on a server, although that's in the works. That's definitely on the list of things to do because people want to be able to define these for a group. But you can define it for a project or for all projects on your system. So this is just generating this book, and the idea here is that the resulting book should be ready to PDF immediately. You shouldn't have to do any manual pagination. Now, one of the nice things about Frame is you can. This gives you access to that intermediate place where you can do some quick pagination and make little tweaks if you need to. But, of course, those tweaks will be lost the next time you build, so you want to keep that to a minimum. There is the option in the book build dialog that lets you specify a script to run, and that script can be a Frame script or an FDK plugin client. And so if you find that you're doing a lot of repetitive work, it's probably worth setting up a script so that that is built automatically. Because you really, you can spend a lot of time tweaking, and if it's not automated, then you're liable to tweak it differently each time. All right, so we've got our book, and it pulled in our title. We've got a TOC, some files. I'm just going to save this directly to PDF. And so we want to make sure the bookmarks are set up correctly. That's good. And you want to make sure that Create Name Destinations is enabled. Now we'll just kick that off. Are there any other questions out there, Alan? Yes, there were some that seemed a little more complicated, so I was holding off. I'll give you one of those now. Does DITA FMx support FDK events for customized integration to third-party CMSs? That is, does it allow the ability to browse a repository to select a target for a conref?
Currently, the only CMS that we integrate with is Xdocs, and yes, you can directly browse the Xdocs repository. I'm working with other CMS vendors to provide that same support. So if you have a CMS that you're working with, you could talk to them and me, and we can work something out. I'm developing a bit of an API so that it would make it easier to connect with other CMSs. All right, so we just generated this book. Let's see if we can find it. There we go. All right. So it set up the bookmarks properly. We've got our title page, copyright information, TOC. That all looks good. You notice the appendix changed here because that's the label for the appendix.